York, and Kelsey Plum blows the lid off the joint, letting us all in on a small secret. Team Clark, they had no idea what was awaiting them walking into that locker room come WNBA All-Star.
Kelsey Plum just stepped completely out of line, and Sabrina Ionescu wasn't having any of it. What should have been a moment of unity for WNBA players at the All-Star game turned into one of the most cringe-worthy press conference disasters we've ever seen, with Plum throwing unprovoked shade at Caitlin Clark while sitting right next to one of Clark's biggest supporters. The audacity is absolutely mind-blowing.
Powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just united front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very proud.
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis was supposed to be Caitlin Clark's home showcase. Instead, she's sitting on the sidelines with a groin injury, watching what should have been her moment slip away. But that wasn't even the worst part. The real disaster came after the game when Kelsey Plum decided to take a completely unnecessary shot at Team Clark.
I know Kelsey Plum was at the All-Star Game in Indianapolis. She made quite a scene, bruh. This time, at the conclusion of the game, I was one of the first people to break the story about her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for the CBA negotiations. Now, we know the WNBA All-Stars came out with these t-shirts, pay us what you...
The WNBA players had just pulled off their pay us what you owe us shirt demonstration, sending a powerful message about collective bargaining negotiations that IT was supposed to show solidarity. Instead, Plum turned it into a petty drama fest that exposed everything wrong with how some veterans treat the league's biggest star.
Agumike, Women's National Basketball Players Association president. Brianna Stewart, vice president. And Nafisa Collier. All on opposing teams from Team Clark. How does it work out that the three biggest players in the Players Association had an idea about wearing a pay us what you owe us t-shirt, make this decision last minute that this is what the players will do? Team Clark somehow isn't present in the meeting.
During the post-game press conference, Plum was explaining the morning meeting where players decided to wear the Unity shirts. Then she went completely off script with this bomb. Not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. The room went dead silent. You could feel the awkwardness through the screen.
I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just united front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just, we had a very,
that really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation.
But here's what makes this even more insane. Sabrina Ionescu was sitting right there, literally arm's distance away, representing Team Clark herself. The disrespect was so blatant, so unnecessary that Ionescu couldn't hide her reaction. She immediately shot Plum a look of pure disbelief, rolled her eyes, and delivered the most sarcastic response that really needed to be mentioned.
These WNBA players, they get more unlikable every day. And the blatant jealousy, the blatant hatred towards Caitlin Clark is, it's obvious. They don't even try to hide it. We got Kelsey Plum talking about these pathetic shirts that they wore out onto the court. And I'm going to tell you, these players all put these shirts on. And like I said in a couple of previous videos, that backfired.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. The tension was palpable. Ionescu's expression said everything. This wasn't just uncomfortable, it was completely out of pocket. Here's a veteran player throwing shade at teammates who weren't even there to defend themselves, all while trying to undermine the very unity they were supposedly promoting. Want to know why Plum's comments are so ridiculous? Let's talk facts. When Caitlin Clark was announced as injured and unable to play in the All-Star game, ticket prices crashed harder than the stock market in 2008. We're talking about a 48% drop in less than 24 hours, from $121 to just $64 for the cheapest seats. That's not market fluctuation. Folks, that's a complete collapse of demand based on one player not being available.
Going on. Caitlin Clark, she was officially ruled out before all of these things. And look at the news that dropped. This is wild. WNBA All-Star Weekend is supposed to be the star of all stars. All the big dogs is out. Asia Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, everybody's out. The big dogs are out. You got the rookie, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here. And look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be.
Think about that for a second. The get-in price for an all-star game in the WNBA's most popular player's home city dropped by nearly half the moment she couldn't play. Some tickets were selling for as low as $60 on resale sites. People were literally trying to get rid of their tickets at any price just to cut their losses. But it gets worse. WNBA ratings tell an even more devastating story when Caitlin Clark doesn't play. Nationally televised WNBA games dropped by a staggering 55%. Her own team's games without her down 53% from an average of 1.81 million viewers to just 847,000. These aren't small dips. This is proof that Clark isn't just a player. She is the league right now.
Well, would you look at that? Prices for the WNBA All-Star Game have plummeted 49% after Caitlin Clark was ruled out due to injury for TikTok. I can't say that I'm surprised by this at all. I mean, no matter how much you love her or hate her, Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. When she goes, the ratings go. Simply put.
Meanwhile, when Clark does play, the numbers are astronomical. Her return game against the Liberty drew 2.2 million viewers on ABC, peaking at 2.8 million. Games featuring Clark consistently rank as the highest-rated WNBA broadcasts in history. The woman is quite literally printing money for everyone in that league. This is where Sabrina Ionescu showed exactly why she's respected throughout the basketball world. Instead of letting Plum's comment slide, immediately checked her with that perfectly timed sarcastic response. But Ionescu's defense of Clark goes way deeper than just that moment when Clark was dealing with her quad injury. Ionescu was there offering advice from her own experience with soft tissue injuries, while Plum is throwing unprovoked shade at a press conference. Ionescu is building up the sport and supporting her fellow players. She understands that Clark's success lifts everyone, not just the Indiana Fever.
The last and latest being this viral Kelsey Plum dig, if you will. And I was in the room for this. It did strike me as very odd in the moment when she said what she said. I wrote it off as kind of awkward, but let me play it for you again, and then I'll respond after the fact. This is what Kelsey Plum said about the T-shirts, and you can, Sabrina Ionescu's reaction.
But don't think Caitlin Clark just took this disrespect lying down. Oh no. The Queen had the perfect response. Ready? When Kelsey Plum posted a series of Instagram photos from All-Star Weekend, including one where she posed in front of a Nike logo. Despite being sponsored by Under Armour, Clark delivered a 6-word masterpiece. Thank you for the Nike ad. The brilliance of this response cannot be overstated. IT was subtle enough to seem playful, but cutting enough to expose the hypocrisy. Here's a player taking shots at Clark while inadvertently promoting Clark's actual sponsor. The strategic thinking behind this comeback shows exactly why Clark operates on a different level than her petty competitors. This isn't an isolated incident. There's a disturbing pattern of WNBA players going out of their way to diminish Caitlin Clark's contributions to the sport. Yet somehow, she continues to face unnecessary criticism and petty attacks from the very people benefiting from her popularity. The irony is staggering. These are the same players asking for more money through collective bargaining while simultaneously attacking the player whose presence makes those higher salaries possible. Clark's games generate the viewership numbers that translate into television deals. Her popularity drives ticket sales that fill arenas. Her merchandise flies off the shelves.
Now, to me, I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so. Now, we know Caitlin Clark is a Nike athlete. She's with Nike. And guess who had to pull up to the Nike party? None other than Sabrina Ionescu. None other than Kelsey Plum. My bad, y'all. None other than Kelsey Plum, bruh. Caitlin Clark commented on her picture. Thank you for the Nike ad.
What? Let's be brutally honest about the business side of this. The WNBA was struggling financially. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the league had never turned a profit. Attendance was mediocre and national. Attention was minimal. Then Clark entered the picture, and everything changed. Her college games at Iowa set viewership records, with the 2024 championship game drawing 18.9 million viewers, numbers that rivaled major men's sporting events. When she was drafted by Indiana, the fever went from afterthought to appointment television. Season ticket sales exploded. Merchandise revenue skyrocketed. The entire league experienced growth. Yet instead of embracing the success, some players seem resentful of it. They want the benefits of Clark's popularity without giving her credit for creating those benefits. It's like complaining about the golden goose while demanding more golden eggs.
Your league lost money last year. It's lost money for what, 28 years now, 27 years, 26 years? However long, it ain't never turned a profit. Again, they're about to make more money. They are. The media rights deal, which is where all the money is about to push salaries higher. All right? I think what a lot of people really are sick of is they're sick of the activism part of it, which is what the other night was. Let's go out and show solidarity in protest kind of crap. And sports fans are like, oh, I'm here for the freaking All-Star game, if you want to call.
Sabrina Ionescu understands something that Kelsey Plum apparently doesn't. Success isn't zero-sum. Clark's popularity doesn't diminish other players. IT elevates the entire sport. Ionescu has seen her own profile rise as the league gains more mainstream attention. She's benefited from increased viewership, better sponsorship deals, and greater media coverage. That's why Ionescu consistently supports Clark, both publicly and privately. She recognizes that having multiple stars is better for everyone than having no stars at all. Her response to Plum's comments wasn't just about defending Clark, it was about defending the league's best interests. The incident reveals deeper WNBA issues. When the biggest star, who drives revenue and attention, faces constant disrespect, it creates a toxic environment that harms everyone. If NBA players disrespected LeBron or Curry in their primes, it would be unprofessional and bad for business. Yet somehow, it's become acceptable in the WNBA to diminish Caitlin Clark's contributions.
So it was definitely awkward what Kelsey Plum said. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and that she was attempting to have some trash talk there. She had taken a shot at Team Caitlin Clark and how much better Team Collier was earlier in the game, and not associate that directly with Caitlin Clark. One, because of the delivery and the awkwardness involved there, and her saying she's trying to lighten the mood. So I think that's what that was supposed to be, but it was completely unnecessary. Didn't need to be said, and certainly putting it out there publicly doesn't help.
Sabrina Ionescu understands something that Kelsey Plum apparently doesn't. Success isn't zero-sum. Clark's popularity doesn't diminish other players. IT elevates the entire sport. Ionescu has seen her own profile rise as the league gains more mainstream attention. She's benefited from increased viewership, better sponsorship deals, and greater media coverage. That's why Ionescu consistently supports Clark, both publicly and privately. She recognizes that having multiple stars is better for everyone than having no stars at all. Her response to Plum's comments wasn't just about defending Clark, it was about defending the league's best interests. The incident reveals deeper WNBA issues. When the biggest star, who drives revenue and attention, faces constant disrespect, it creates a toxic environment that harms everyone. If NBA players disrespected LeBron or Curry in their primes, it would be unprofessional and bad for business. Yet somehow, it's become acceptable in the WNBA to diminish Caitlin Clark's contribution.